model and the fixed project model. And what ends up happening in a lot of instances is when it comes to retainer, the vast majority of creative agencies, because of the flexibility needed, actually applies a fixed number of hours that someone bills against on a monthly basis, a bucket of hours that they get to utilize on a monthly basis, which ultimately, effectively, is a retainer with an hourly component, which is ultimately not what we want. So what I would like for us to do today is talk about a retainer model that allows for flexibility, allows for you to be able to really understand how to be able to build more based on value, and being able to really get to the place where you have that flexibility for creative services and ultimately be in that right place. So many agencies do not have retainer clients because they don't know how to really set it up and they're unsure about how to do it correctly. So what ends up happening for a lot of people is you don't have a set amount of deliverables when it comes to the creative services. So if you're a design studio and the client needs one day they need a sales sheet, the next day they need an update to a design item for a Facebook ad, the next thing they need is something for a social media site, and then they need some other piece of sales collateral or another piece of marketing collateral. And those types of things are changing on an ongoing basis. And because of the varied nature to design deliverables, it's actually creating this need to either bill by the hour or actually scope out every single project, which ultimately adds a lot of administrative work either on the billing side, which is not really value oriented, it's exchanging time for money, or it's creating a lot of administrative time to scope it out every single time. So as I mentioned, the mistake that a lot of people make here, a lot of agencies make, is they're utilizing a bucket of hours, essentially the same as hourly. Even worse, they start to discount their hourly rate in order to sell a retainer. So they're making less money on the scalable aspect of their business, which, why? Not my core fundamental, not something I would suggest. So what we have as an opportunity here is understand how to have a high value-based retainer and how to work through it. So what's really going on here is it's really hard to grow in the way that a lot of agencies are, and the hourly model or even the retainer model based on hours. Because ultimately the same thing happens as you get more efficient, more effective in the work that you're doing, as you are in a place that you, as every single year that you are in business and you have been a designer, the more and the better you and your team become at the output. And the only person that benefits from that really is the client. You don't get to bill more for the vast majority of you. You're at the same rates that you have been for years. And that effectiveness does not actually transfer to you. You don't get to grow. You don't get to be more profitable. That experience that you've gained, that efficiency that you've gained was for you for naught. For the client, great. And ultimately the client should be winning. Absolutely. But ultimately I want you to win too. So both the client should be winning and you should be winning, a truly mutually beneficial relationship. So what I want you to really understand here is how we're able to apply a retainer and essentially think of it as kind of projects on a monthly basis. And this is what I've seen work extremely well. And so I'm going to talk about it from a high level process, and then I'm going to show you how it would work in practicality. So the model is that you actually have a flat monthly retainer. They're paying for access to you and your team. Set number of people who it is ultimately that is on your team that is going to be involved with that client, be it a strategist, be it a designer, be it a creative director, who it is ultimately that they need access to. The way that it would work is you have a flat monthly amount that works within that client's budget. And from that point forward, you either meet monthly or quarterly, depending on how advanced how far in advance your client is thinking about their marketing and design needs. With your help, by the way, because you need to start to guide these conversations, because the vast majority of people are thinking about tomorrow. They're not thinking about next month. And so you need to help them start thinking a bit longer term. So the output's better. The goals are more aligned. They're able to actually grow better. So this is better for the client as well. So you're able to meet with them either monthly or quarterly. You're planning out that next month or you're planning out that next quarter. And ultimately, what you end up doing is you end up turning that month retainer into, hey, here's what we can output for you. Here's all of your deliverables that you need right now. Here's the list of priority. Here's what we can get done. And here's what we can't get done this month based on what you currently have. If you want to get these other items in this still higher priority, we can give you a separate scope of work specifically for that and let them know what that price would be. And then you actually turn essentially your retainer into a fixed project. The other way that you can do this is on a credit model. So you would have, they get access to a certain number of credits, and those credits ultimately apply to a specific deliverable. So let's say that it's a Facebook ad or a landing page or a presentation or a one sheet, whatever it is that you're actually putting out, you have a number of credits. So for $5,000 a month, let's call it, they get 500 credits, and every single item of a deliverable has a credit. That's another way of doing it. But this one is the way that I prefer because it allows for you to be a bit more strategic with client, more like an advisor. So here's how I want you to think about it. You think about what it is ultimately that they're looking to accomplish, the three things that they are looking to accomplish this quarter. It could be, a new website. It could be, some new sales collateral. And it is, we'll call social media items. So ultimately what you would end up doing is you start to map out over a period of time, and we'll call it, so this is over a 90-day period of time. So this would be on a quarterly model. So you'd map out what you would actually get done within the website throughout this particular period of time, because a website takes a while, 3 months to 4 months, sometimes longer, depending on the site. So you list out what you're going to be doing from initial strategy, concepting to wireframes. Wireframe, you start to write out copy. You start to initial low fidelity design and continues on. Same thing happens with the sales collateral. You start to build out exactly what you're going to be doing each week so they understand, and you're able to now contextualize to the client what this particular retainer is going to deliver for them on the monthly or quarterly basis. So you have set the expectations for the client. They understand exactly what they're going to get. The question I get a lot on this is ultimately, what happens when they need to change? That's fine. You end up trading out something. So if you need to do this and it's a higher priority than these three other items, we'll take these off. We'll put them into the hopper for next quarter, next month, and we'll go ahead and elevate this to now the new priority. So it allows for you to be flexible with the client, allowing for you to really understand what it takes to actually deliver it. Still value oriented, project-based billing, higher profitability. You get to benefit as the agency of the work and the efficiency and the effectiveness of your team and the expertise that you have developed over years of training and honing your skills. And you get to now truly benefit from it. So what I'd like for you to do from this training now is take this workbook and actually look at an existing client relationship. How would you actually build out where you currently are working right now? And if you're on a retainer, build out what that retainer would look like, augmenting to it being more fixed project-based, how you would actually have these strategy conversations. And if you don't have a retainer model, look at what you've been doing with an existing client right now, what you've done the past couple of months, and where you currently and how you would be structuring these conversations. If you have any questions around how you would exactly implement this for your agency and for your service, do me a favor and comment below on this video, and we're absolutely happy